Hey guys, I'm Justin. I'm here with Pastor Ryan. We kicked off a new series tonight about community and what that looks like. So after sitting in service, just thought about what you were speaking about and came up with a question. All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Ready. Hit me.
Let's do this.
Let's do it.
So say a person is like sitting in service tonight and they heard what you were talking about. You were talking about like getting into community and like the benefits of that and everything. But what if somebody's had like a bad experience with community, or they've been hurt by, say, a church or a person or a group falling out, and they're scared to re-engage into community? How would you kind of walk them through that process?
Man, that is a huge question and a really good question. I would say, like, a lot of times when folks come to Grace and have been hurt maybe by another church, what we'll do is we'll say, why don't you just like sit and attend service for like a year, right? Why don't you just kind of sit and heal and just take the time? Don't get involved right away in serving. If you want to take some time off, community, like, that's great. Give it about a year's time frame and then plan on like re-engaging back in. Because sometimes folks, for all kinds of reasons, show up hurt, like their church fell apart, it shut down, it harmed them or hurt them in some way spiritually. And sometimes people will have kind of a negative experience in a group where they're betrayed or they're hurt. Their group closed or changed, or maybe half the people went to a different campus, so their group's way different now. And so you have like all of these different kinds of experiences in community where you could walk away and say, man, I was connected with all these people and now I'm not. And I think that leaves folks in an interesting and a kind of a vulnerable situation. One of the biggest things I always ask, like if somebody comes from another church or they want to leave a group or they're disconnecting from a group, is did you kind of close that up well? Like, did you let that pastor know that you were leaving? Did you make sure you were at peace with that person in your life group that you have conflict with, or with your life group leader? Like, did you do everything in your power? Paul says in Romans, as far as it depends on you, be at peace with all men, right? So as far as it depends on us, we want to do our part to have peace and unity and make it make sense. Now, how they respond, how other people respond, is not our responsibility, right? But I want to be able to look before God and say, like, I have a clean conscience.
Right.
I've done everything that I know how to do. And the reality is, like, Jesus was betrayed, right, in ministry. Paul was betrayed in ministry. And so hurt in the midst of community is kind of normal. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
And a big part of how we kind of change to become like Christ is living in the midst of people. And those people are imperfect, just like we are, right? And so, like, we're going to bump into each other and sin against each other. So forgiving and deferring to each other and respecting each other and sacrificing for each other and all of those one another's show up in community. Like, I need that, right? So kind of a negative experience in a group